After all the talk and leaks about the new S series from Samsung, we finally got to spend some time with them, and all I can say is that Samsung addressed a lot of our concerns with the S22 and S22 Plus. Hey guys, Tito James here, and in this one, we're taking a look at 2 out of 3 of the new S series devices. Of course, I'm talking about the S22 and S22 Plus. Now, we were only able to spend a limited time with these devices, so I really can't answer all of your questions, but I want to share my initial thoughts with you guys. But of course, before we get to that, let's talk about the prices for these phones. I'll have them up on screen so you can check them out, and I really think that these are going to be the models that are going to be moving the most this year, at least for the S series. Pause the vid if you need more time because it's time to talk about the phones. Now, like I said, they really addressed some of the things or some of our concerns from last year, and case in point, we can see that in the exterior of these two devices. Yes, they generally look the same from last year's model, but gone is the plastic back on the S22. All 3 phones in the series are now sporting Gorilla Glass Victus for the back and the same armor aluminum frame that we saw on the Galaxy Z Fold 3, which is a pretty big win in my book. By the way, if you clicked on this video first, I do have a separate video on the S22 Ultra, which you can check out by clicking on the link down below or somewhere right here on screen. Anyway, one other change to the S22 and S22 Plus is that they're a little thicker this year, and that's because the frame has been slightly squared off. Now, I personally like this since it gives you a better grip on these devices, but I'm not sure it's gonna be for everyone, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna draw a lot of comparison to the iPhone. Now, to give you guys a quick look at the size difference between the S22 and S22 Plus, here they are side by side, and while the height of the phones aren't too far off from each other, the S22 is much smaller to handle and might be the choice for those looking for a compact flagship. By the way, all 3 phones also sport IPX68 rating for water and dust resistance, which is always good to have. Now, in terms of screen size, the S22 comes in at 6.1 inches, while its sibling comes in at 6.6 inches. So I would probably end up going for the Plus because of how I tend to use devices and screen being a big priority for me. Now, they're using the same panel as the S22 Ultra, of course, which is the best of the best that Samsung has to offer at the moment, which is a dynamic AMOLED 2X display, both at Full HD Plus resolution, plus the silky experience with the higher refresh rates. So nothing you haven't really heard or seen in the past, but I think we're going to be seeing these panels more until Samsung, of course, comes up with better display tech. For the cameras, you've got the same setup for both phones that have a 10 megapixel front camera, and here are a few snaps from our little controlled area where we got to experience these devices. Now, for the cameras on the back, you have a 50 megapixel wide angle, that's the main camera, a 12 megapixel ultra wide, and a 10 megapixel telephoto that's capable of 3x optical zoom. So again, just a couple of sample shots we were able to take, and I used the base S22 for this, but you should be seeing the same results for the S22 Plus if that's what you're more interested in.
Okay, so this is me recording on the S22 Plus using 8K 24p. Let me know what the footage looks like. I'm gonna try and move around to see what the wobble is like. It's anything. I'm not even gonna try to take gentle steps with this. Let's see if it's really smooth. Problem is, I don't know if my laptop can process this image, but there you go. 24p 8K footage from the S22 Plus. So now dropping it down to 4K 60, this is the main camera on the S22 Plus. Again, moving around this space in the Samsung Philippines office. This is what the exposure looks like. Let's see if what happens when I switch over to the window. It actually adjusts really well. Now time to switch over to the wide angle camera. So here you go, wide angle footage. Again, on the S22 Plus, you should be seeing the same results on the base model of the S22. Let's move away from the window and see how it switched over to exposure. Actually really smooth, really nice. Looks pretty smooth in terms of stabilization as well. I'm not using super steady on this at all, so looks pretty decent. Again, I'm gonna have to go back to the computer to see how shaky it is, but again, OIS on this should help it out a lot. So again, rear footage using the wide angle camera on the S22 Plus.
As for the processor on these devices, well, I can't confirm them as of recording this video. We're either getting the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 or the Exynos 2200, but either way, I'm curious to see the performance since I haven't really gotten to try the new Snapdragon, and I'm really hoping that Samsung has just found a gem in their newer Exynos chips. And if you've seen the leaked benchmarks for the Exynos 2200, it looks promising. For battery, of course, because of the size of the S22, it gets a much smaller capacity. It's at 3700 milliamp hours, so that might be an issue if you demand a lot of your smartphone, plus the charging speed is at the usual 25 watts. Now, the S22 Plus does get a decent bump up at 4500 milliamp hours, plus it also has the same 45 watt charging as the Ultra, so yay for faster charging speeds. Now, like I said in the beginning, I think these two phones are gonna outsell the Ultra. Number one, because of the higher price point of that device. And number two, because you might not need the included S Pen. The big question mark for me here, of course, is the battery capacity for the base model of the S22. So I don't know, that's why I'm leaning towards the S22 Plus personally. But again, if you want a smaller, compact flagship phone, that might be the way to go. So that's it for your quick look at the S22 and S22 Plus. I really hope we get them soon so we can really see what they're made of. But if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, sub to the channel, make sure you hit that notification bell. If you have any questions, leave them down below and I'll try my best to get to them as soon as I can. For all the latest in tech, head to Unbox.ph, plus follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and listen to our podcast on Spotify. My name is Tito James. Peace, God bless. See you guys next time. And of course, stay safe, guys.